I've been to the White House 6 times this year.
Yeah.
Fantasies that people would write about 13 years ago, like one day maybe it could get to this point or that point. We're beyond that point now.
Yeah.
Medici, Rothschild, Morgan, Nakamoto. Like our hedge fund that we started this from, it's the best performing hedge fund in the world. Dude, we're building an army to change the world. Yeah.
How quickly do you think we get to that $1 million
I think
Bitcoin?
by 2030, the price of one Bitcoin is over $1 million. Within a week of us getting a public company, I had a guy lend me $200 million.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen of Naka Nation, we got a very special guest in the house today. Give it up for David Bailey. David.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, David? David, as you guys already know, is the founder and CEO of BTC Inc, Think Bitcoin Magazine, and most importantly, the CEO of Nakamoto. Let's go, Naka Nation.
Naka Nation, let's go.
Naka Nation, let's go. So, David, as you know, I'm just an ordinary guy. I don't work
with a killer jacket.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Look, but jacket aside, I'm just an ordinary dude, and I don't work in the space. And when I hear some of these interviews, a lot of this stuff just goes over my head, quite frankly. So I was hoping that today we could do things a little differently. Can we do this one for me?
Yeah.
Can we do this one?
Do it.
For us,
yeah,
for us plebs,
you know, and I just want to say, I feel like I'm also just an ordinary person who's been in Bitcoin for 13 years.
Yeah, and
so I feel like I'm like the original pleb. I was a pleb. If you're a pleb and you stay in Bitcoin for 13 years, it changes you. But yeah, I'm right there with you. That's the type of podcast I like too.
Awesome. So let's, you said you've been in Bitcoin for 13 years. So I actually want to just jump in the time machine real quick.
Yep.
And jump back to the very beginning. I want to know, set yourself up in that space. Remember how it felt like when you first became completely obsessed with Bitcoin.
Yeah, that was November of 2012.
Yeah. And what is it that got you there?
So I was a diehard Ron Paul fan.
Mm-hmm.
I was really into Austrian economics. In fact, the way I got into Ron Paul is I had lost money in the financial crisis in 2008 investing as a high schooler in stocks. And so Ron Paul opened my eyes to the malinvestment that happens in the flaws in our monetary system. And then a friend of mine, I've always been an investor. I've always been a nerd about money. And a friend of mine sent me an article about Bitcoin and I thought it was a scam. And so I have one of those personalities where I was going to like show my friend how it was a scam. And then as I got into it, I couldn't tell you why it wouldn't work. And that's when it got to the point where it's like, okay, if this has a 1 in a million chance of working, then this is worth doing because this is the biggest idea that could possibly ever exist. Like you're disrupting all money, all value, everything. And so that's when I bought my first Bitcoins. And then ever since I bought my first Bitcoins, I've been just absolutely addicted. I stopped going to school. I was in college when I found Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing else mattered other than Bitcoin.
Yeah. So it's basically like a process of elimination. You're like, it doesn't work for that reason. Oh, wait, it does. It doesn't work for that.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, it does.
Exactly. There's a website that used to exist called the Bitcoin Talk Forums where literally it's just like 10,000 autistic people yelling at each other all day. And you can pick any topic, the most obscure topic, and you go and search it. And there's like some thread that's 100 pages long of people just yelling at each other over the topic. So like if you just do the work, you do the research, you can find any question you have. Someone has already brought up the question and it's been debated endlessly and there's an answer.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I remember when when I first kind of like had that light bulb moment. And, I had probably mid-curved it for like years. I mean, I had been hearing about it for years through my friend Austin, and he kept trying to tell me, and I'm like, oh no, I'm good. I'm just going to buy some gold. And, I remember when Bitcoin was in the hundreds of dollars, having this, very long, probably like an hour long debate with our friend Austin, saying, oh no, but I still think the gold's better because I could open up the drawer and see it and it just makes sense to me. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna buy gold. So I finally capitulated like a few years after that in 2017. And I remember when I finally arrived at that moment that I realized, and this is, Bitcoin's probably like around like, call it like $3,000 or $4,000 at this point. I just realized I'm like, I don't care if the Bitcoin price in dollar terms stays like this, just flat forever. Just the technology that it has that's permissionless, that I could send this at any time of day. Like, I connected with that on such a deep level because my dad had to flee Cuba. So my dad and our family fled Cuba, and they had to leave everything behind. That was one of the conditions in the early 60s. Those that first wave of Cubans that left had to leave with literally nothing but their shirt on the back. So I just thought, if Bitcoin would have been around at that time,
Game changer.
it would have been a complete game changer. So just thinking about it through that frame for me was like, oh, I connected with it on such a almost spiritual level where it's like, okay, I don't need number to go up. I see numbers going up, but that's not what's getting me excited right now. This permissionless technology is what's fascinating to me. So that's kind of like the first light bulb moment. And once it turned on, it never turned off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I respect gold because gold is the OG Bitcoin. I mean, it's not as good as Bitcoin in any dimension. Bitcoin's way better, but it's the OG Bitcoin. So there's always respect for that. In terms of like, to your story of why you connected with it, one of the cool things about being in media, and I kind of just happenstanced into media, was the first like 2 years I was in Bitcoin, maybe 3 years. I just traveled to every conference and every meetup around the planet about Bitcoin and just met the Bitcoiners that are there. And what was interesting is everywhere you go, there's a different story and reason why and how that place connects with Bitcoin, because different parts of the world have different problems. And so, if you go to Argentina, it's the hyperinflation. Cuba, it's, fleeing communism. China, it's capital controls. I mean, every place you go, there's a different reason why that community developed. And so I got to go around and hear all these stories. And like, once you hear these stories, it's like, wow, like this is happening. This is a thing that's needed in the world. It has to exist.
Yeah.
And there are so many people around the world that are going to make this happen and build it. That it really, like, that's why I have such conviction in this, is like, it's an idea whose time has come.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is it that keeps you most excited about it today? Fast forward to 2025. What is it that gets you most excited about Bitcoin today and in the future?
Well, I think probably what keeps me most excited about Bitcoin right now, and I mean, the whole journey has been incredible. Like I'm just an ordinary guy. And I got involved in Bitcoin when Bitcoin was very simple. And so I was very fortunate to see Bitcoin get from something that was very simple to today it's very complex. Like, there's a whole industry and ecosystem, and there's layers, and there's financial markets, and there's all this shit. So if I had to come into Bitcoin today and try to figure out how it all worked, dude, there's no way I could do it. But I got to see all these things get built over time. And so I got to I can explain to you why this is how it is, because I can tell you the backstory of how it got there.
Yeah.
And so, I've just been an ordinary dude watching this and witnessing it from the front lines for 13 years. Where we are in this process, like, this has gotten so much further. Like, the fantasies that people would write about 13 years ago, like one day maybe it could get to this point or that point, we're beyond that point now.
Yeah.
Like, now we're at the point where this is like at a tipping point of going mainstream in society throughout the world. And, people don't spend a lot of time thinking about why money matters or the power of money. But like, governments controlling the money is like the entire power structure of the world. And when that tipping point flips, where now the people control the money and it's math-based money, and we don't need the politicians in order to have money, everything we know about society and the world is going to change. Absolutely. And so, like, I feel like we're at that point right now. And like the next 5 years is when this is going to go from like, we're leaving the early adopter phase to like, this is when like, maybe right now it's like the year 1997 in the internet. And the next like 5 years, 6 years is where this technology is just going to be like every person who's young is going to use this.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that that's exciting, dude. That's like where Bitcoin goes from a play toy to a true challenge to power.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree more with you on that, because I have the same sentiment. It's like we could finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, the last few years, especially, I mean, you know, go back any year before 2022. It's like, you know, this is just complete pipe dream. But now we're here, and I mean, you know, I'm just looking at you thinking, hey, we had the last two conferences since you since you run Bitcoin Magazine and the conference. This is relevant, so let's talk about it. The last two conferences, we had on 2024 we had Trump, and then on 2025 we had Vice President JD Vance. So
it's insane.
It's, I mean, like you said, way beyond our wildest dreams. So we finally see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's like a horse going to the stable. It sees the finish line and it hits it running.
I mean, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but it's like, I've been to the White House 6 times this year.
Yeah.
You know, like my business partner last night, he had dinner with the SEC chairman. Like we're hearing from governments around the world who are trying to buy Bitcoin. The United States created a strategic Bitcoin reserve.
Yep.
We're now going to Wall Street. Wall Street used to be the people that controlled the everyday person. Now the everyday people are taking over Wall Street, and we're just buying companies and taking them over.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I'm seeing the entire power structure is like flipping right before our eyes, and it's insane. It's insane. And it's just beginning. But yeah, you could feel the energy at the conference. Like we had 35,000 people this year. It was like you could feel the revolutionary spirit in the air of like, this is happening.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I yeah, I mean it's crazy. You know, actually we just got a call from Nigel Farage from the UK, who's probably gonna be the next Prime Minister of the UK. He wants us to come up there and work with him. He's setting up a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's like one by one, as these dominoes fall, everything just keeps accelerating.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, 5 years from now, every government on the planet is going to own Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So, you know, 5 years from now, Bitcoiners will be the most powerful political faction in the world. We probably already are the most powerful political faction, but 5 years from now, we definitely will be the most powerful political faction.
Yeah.
And so that's not just in the US. That's US, China, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, South Africa, everywhere on the planet, Bitcoiners will be taking over.
Yeah. And it's the takeover of money. And, you know, the importance of money, I don't think it could be overstated, because, you know, if you're not a finance person, it's easy to just write it off, be like, oh yeah, that's just the dollar. And then there's so many other currencies. It's easy to kind of get lost in the sauce. But, you know, the main takeaway there, for me at least, is that money is half of every transaction in the world. So yeah, there might be whatever hundreds of currencies, but money, just put them all under the umbrella money. Money is half of every transaction in the world. So if you can't take control of that, you have lost control of everything. So I don't think it could be overstated how important it is to have sound money and to put control back in the hands of the people.
The house we're in right now, the equipment that's filming this, the way we all got here, everything you do in life, it all revolves around the flow of money.
Yeah.
And, you know, money is supposed to be a tool that enables people to achieve the things they want to achieve in the world. It's a tool for collaboration. And instead, what money has become is become a tool of enslavement.
Yeah.
Where we're all dependent upon money, but there's someone somewhere who has the ability to just mint money on command and spend it however they want. And we all pay the cost of that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when we take back control of the money, we're taking back control of our lives, and we're taking back control of the world.
Yeah. I mean, what more noble cause is there than that? I mean,
no, I mean, that's why it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's like pick the biggest idea you could possibly go pursue. Probably the only other idea out there that I think is like equally powerful is like colonize Mars.
Yeah.
I think that's a big idea.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Yeah.
go spread humans to other planets. But second, like on equal footing of that is like separate money and state and return the power to the people.
Absolutely. So you don't want to do it in a small way either. I mean, one of the missions on the BTC Inc. website is hyper-Bitcoinization. Yeah. So can you define hyper-Bitcoinization for us plebs?
Yeah, it means 100% adoption of Bitcoin. It's when Bitcoin is used for every financial transaction. Every person on the planet uses Bitcoin, not just every person on the planet, every computer, every machine, every AI, every financial transaction and payment that happens on top of Bitcoin. That's hyper-Bitcoinization.
Yeah, I love it. And you think that is an achievable goal?
That will 100% happen in our lifetime.
In our lifetime.
In our lifetime.
You heard it here, Naka Nation. Wow.
It'll happen in our lifetime.
Hyper-Bitcoinization.
It'll accelerate. It'll like, see, this is the thing. As people abandon the old system and they come to the new system, there's less and less people holding up the old system. And so all the money that's being stolen by the political class, less and less people are there to pay the cost of all that. And so it's going to become completely unbearable for the people that remain. They're going to want to leave even more. And so people will just leave the old system and come to the new system at a faster and faster pace. And eventually, when there's no one left in the old system, like the political class will give up because like, what's the point of doing it if there's no one to even steal from? Yeah. So, I think in our lifetime it'll happen.
Oh, that's incredibly exciting.
But we have to make it happen.
Yeah, we have to make it happen, of course. Yeah, I mean, look, it falls on all of us. It's not just going to happen by accident either. So, you got to, if you align with the mission, you got to get out there and do your part. I think it's important. So,
yeah, and I mean, I've come to realize, like, corporations are made up of people. Nations are made up of people. And like there can be bad apples, like there can be corrupt people amongst those groups, but at the end of the day, 99% of people are good. And all of these institutions that we have in society, they're run by people. And so Bitcoin has already taken root amongst the people. Yeah. And since people make up all the institutions, Bitcoin has infiltrated every institution on the planet. Like the way we got Trump into Bitcoin is because there's already Bitcoiners in the White House. There's already Bitcoiners in the Federal Reserve. There's already Bitcoiners. I met these guys in Turkey, and they told me there's a saying in Turkey. It's the riders are behind the gate, I think is what the saying is. Like we've already infiltrated the palace walls. Yeah. And it's over. Yeah. And like we've infiltrated all the palace walls. And like there's Bitcoiners in the PBOC in China. There's Bitcoiners in MBS's inner circle in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And we're all colluding together to make this happen. Yeah. So it's like, this is the biggest conspiracy on the planet is Bitcoin. Yeah. Yeah. And so like, we've infiltrated these institutions and now like we're in the process of cannibalizing them. And so like, there's like Bitcoiners on Wall Street. There's Bitcoiners that run big companies. They started buying Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Now they're helping people like us go and take over other public companies and put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And so one by one, we'll eat every company on Wall Street until we've eaten all the companies. Yeah. And then one by one, we'll eat every government until we've eaten all the governments.
So you've chosen Nakamoto as your vehicle to do that and to affect hyper-Bitcoinization. Before we dive into the weeds of Nakamoto, I'd like to understand, why did you choose a Bitcoin treasury company as the vehicle versus an ETF?
Well, they're two different things. Like an ETF is very controlled in terms of what you can do. It's just like it's a proxy for Bitcoin. We created an operating company. An operating company means that we not only have the ability to raise Bitcoin onto the balance sheet, but we have the ability to do things with the Bitcoin. Like we can actually put the Bitcoin to work like you would any other asset. So like that's why we wanted to create an operating company. And watching what Saylor's done, I'm unbelievably blown away by Saylor. He's like the living goat. He's an absolute genius pioneer. But like I see things that he does and I think I'd do it different. And so, all respect to Saylor. He's the king. But
like, the goat. Shout out to Saylor.
Shout out, Michael, if you see this, you are the king. We see a different way to do it. And like the reason we called it Nakamoto, because our company is right now BTC Inc. So like we could have gone with BTC Inc. There's all those sorts of names we could have picked. But like the reason Nakamoto stuck is like I thought of like if you think of every financial institution in history that has changed the world, okay, it's like the Medici's invented banking, like, and there's called the Medici Bank. The Rothschilds, they created central banking. Okay, they're the financial powerhouse. J.P. Morgan, created investment banking.
Yep.
Okay, named J.P. Morgan, and it's like Satoshi Nakamoto created the next generation financial system, and we're creating the next generation financial institution built on top of that, and it needs to be named after the founder. So it's like Nakamoto.
Yeah.
So Medici, Rothschild, Morgan, Nakamoto.
Yeah. And me as a pleb, I have the opportunity to align myself with that. I don't need to be some big mega whale. I could just buy one share and be in the community, right?
No, it's the same as Bitcoin. You can just buy a fraction of a Bitcoin and be a part of Bitcoin. It's like what this is this is a movement of people trying to achieve a common cause. And we're using financial resources that we're pooling together to make that common cause happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know you had started to touch on some of the ways that you guys are different than a MicroStrategy. So I'd love to dive into that a little more.
So, we call it MicroStrategy squared. And the reason why we call it that is we stumbled into this, honestly. Like I don't want to seem like we're just ordinary, normal people who love Bitcoin, and then we're observant. And so we saw what Saylor was doing, and we got involved in this little company in Japan about a year ago called MetaPlanet, which is a hotel company that's listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. And it was us and 6 of our friends. We came together. We put $6 million into this company. And it was a $15 million company. So you call them zombie companies. It's like basically a dead company. And so the valuation of that company was $21 million when the transaction closed. And we watched that company grow by just copying MicroStrategy from 21 million to 50 million, then to 100 million, then 200 million, then 500 million, then 1 billion, then 2 billion, then 5 billion, then 6 billion, then 7 billion. And so like we're watching this happen. We're like, oh my God, like what is happening right now? This is incredible.
Yeah.
And what we saw is like the shareholders that were buying MetaPlanet were totally different than the shareholders that were buying MicroStrategy. Like they were Japanese, which is like, duh, it's a Japanese stock. Of course they're Japanese. But it's like, I don't know. I just feel like everyone kind of skips over that fact that like people who live in a certain place, they want to buy stocks and they want to be a part of companies that are from the place that they're from. Yeah. Which is like kind of like obvious. But I mean, I don't know. No one ever thinks about it. They're like, oh, well, the Tokyo Stock Exchange is connected to the New York Stock Exchange and people can buy the stocks. But I saw the shareholder base of 100,000 plus people get built for MetaPlanet that were like Japanese shareholders. And they were really excited about what MetaPlanet was doing. So we're like, we should do this, but in more places. We should do this really in every capital market on the planet. So we went and did it in Hong Kong, and we got Chinese participants involved in that. We went and did it in the United Kingdom, and we got British citizens involved in that. We did it in France and got the French involved in it. We did it in Canada and got the Canadians involved in it. We just did it in Brazil, and we're getting the Brazilians involved in it. And so it's like, this is a global phenomenon. And like, we need to have a Bitcoin treasury company in every capital market, which there's 80 distinct capital markets in the world. So we need at least one Bitcoin treasury company in each of those 80 markets, all buying Bitcoin, all building a shareholder base from their country, bringing Bitcoin to their country. And we need to make it where every investor on the planet is one click away from buying Bitcoin. Yeah. And so our idea was, let's raise a Bitcoin treasury in America and then use that Bitcoin to seed all of these Bitcoin treasury companies around the world. And let's acquire 80 public companies in every capital market globally and have 80 CEOs with 80 IR teams going door to door, raising money to buy Bitcoin in their country, and let's orange pill the world through the capital markets.
Yeah. It's a brilliant idea, and it's also a good, differentiator, because I'm not aware of anyone else that's doing this right now.
No one's doing
aside from Nakamoto.
And it's working.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's working. Like our hedge fund that we started this from, it's the best performing hedge fund in the world.
Yeah.
Like this is working really, really well. And so people are like kind of catching on. Like they're kind of like, oh, like this is like interesting. But like if they really were catching on, they'd be doing it themselves as fast as possible. I don't
Yeah.
understand what they're doing. So it's like we're just doing it as quickly as we possibly can.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even Saylor says it all the time, even to today. He's surprised that there weren't more copycats sooner, and he had, a couple years head start from everybody. It's unbelievable.
No, I mean, it's crazy. And then, I'm surprised there's not more people doing it. It's like today. And, even Saylor, when we did MetaPlanet, he was like, I don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah.
It might not work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think it's going to work. Yeah. And then we did it and it worked. And he's like, wow.
Yeah.
It does work.
Yeah. So even Saylor was surprised. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But aside from setting up basically a Bitcoin treasury company in every single country, you guys have other differentiators in Nakamoto beyond that. So I'd love to kind of keep drilling down here, because I just see this company is so incredibly unique.
So what we also want to do is we want to accumulate a suite of companies that are owned by Nakamoto that provide services to public companies to help them put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Mm-hmm. So we're noticing that all of these companies, they need similar things, and all these companies want to go do similar things, because effectively they're the same strategy, just in different markets. And so one of the things we notice is all of these companies want to build the Bitcoin community in their country. So with MetaPlanet, we did a partnership where they license from Bitcoin Magazine Japan, and they create news and educational content about Bitcoin in Japanese for the Japanese market, which wants to consume that in a different way than the US market does. Mm-hmm. So we saw a big need for educational material that all these companies want. All these companies, once they buy Bitcoin, they need to store the Bitcoin somewhere. So there's a need for custody for each one of these companies. All these companies, when they raise money, they need to buy Bitcoin. So it's okay, well, they need brokerage services. Mm-hmm. So we see a suite of things that each of these companies need. And it's you know what? We should just buy or build each of those businesses. And then we should have a full suite service where any company in the world who wants to get into Bitcoin can call us, and we can handle it start to finish, super simple. Yeah. Think about how many companies are focused on adoption for individuals to buy into Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. There's almost no companies focused on adoption for companies to buy into Bitcoin. So it's we should do that. And we can use the services ourselves across our portfolio. But I think in the future, every company's going to own Bitcoin. Not just the Bitcoin treasury companies, all of them are going to own Bitcoin. Yeah. So it's we should help them do that. And so we have some companies that we plan on acquiring. Nakamoto has baked into the transaction an option to acquire BTC Inc., which is the company that we've been building the past 13 years, owns Bitcoin Magazine and the conference, UTXO management. So, but that's just one company, and we see a suite of companies that are needed. And then, I think the next phase of this is there's this corporate adoption phase. But I mentioned earlier that we're starting to hear from a lot of governments that governments are getting into Bitcoin. And so we see a suite of products that governments also might need in the future. And maybe, I'm not of the opinion that governments are going away. There's no need for governments. We just don't want the governments to run the money, because when they run the money, they the corrupt ones take it over and abuse it. Yep. But once we take away their power to abuse that, there is a purpose for governments. We all need to live together in society. And so I see governments embracing this everywhere. And that's the next stage of where this goes. And I think that what we're building right now is the precursor to that era of Bitcoin that's coming.
Yeah. So basically, not only are you partnering up with them to go help them mine the gold, show them where it is, you're also selling that same company the picks and shovels as well.
Correct.
Yeah. Really exciting. I think another kind of interesting differentiator here that I've seen is that you guys are a young team. I mean, I think you're younger than me, so it's
I'm 34.
Yeah, you're 34. So yeah, you're younger than me. So what does that mean? You got your whole life ahead of you to run this thing out.
Yeah, no, we're all in. We're all in. And dude, the cool thing about our company is that we were never able to raise money. No one ever believed in us. No one ever supported us. And so we only did things our way because we didn't know any other way to do them. Mm-hmm. And then we pulled together the most motley crew of people you can possibly imagine over the past 13 years that are like the survivors that could like do whatever it took to advance the cause.
Yeah.
And so we have this really unique team that we've built. Everyone's young. Now we have a couple people that have some gray hair that are like helping us, that are giving us input, but like almost the entire company is young. And like, yeah, like we're 13 years in, we're not even, we have at least 30 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
So we're not even 1/3 into this journey.
Yeah.
Like as where we're taking this thing.
Yeah. And it's incredible because you also have really deep, such deep ties in the community, just being one of the absolute OGs that's responsible for orange pilling so many people that have gotten in the space. What does that translate to in my mind as an investor? I think, okay, this is where your deal flow is coming from.
Yeah.
So that's another differentiator where it's like, you know, especially now that as the hype train continues to build, I could see a lot. We've already seen a lot of people just announcing, hey, we're a Bitcoin treasury company just for sake of announcing it. They don't know anything about Bitcoin. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised that a lot of those go by the wayside in the next cycle as we're here. You know, you guys have deep roots in the community, and it's gonna help source deal flow. And I think the proof is in the pudding. It's already, like you said, you're the number 1 performing hedge fund in the world. I mean,
no, I think
what else did people need to hear?
I think it's actually you're hitting a really important point. Like first off, the investors that participated in Naka, because people were like, how the hell did you raise $710 million? Which to me is, I'm still blown away. We raised $710 million.
Yeah.
But this is an all-in bet for us. Like we went all in. Everything's going into this. And so we went to all of the relationships that we've built over the past 13 years. And like a lot of these guys that we went to, they're like retired. Like they're like out of the game, or they've moved, like they're just like not reachable. But we went to them because we're like, hey, we have this vision. That's like the vision that got you into Bitcoin when you were in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And we're taking this to the next level and want you to be a part of it. And because like people know, like we've never been in this for the money. We've always been in this because we are absolute ideological radicals.
Yeah.
And so they're like, YOLO, we're in.
That's
it. And so like our cap table is like all of these other radical ideologues that we've met, that from all over the world, from China, from India, Indonesia, Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, UAE, Bahrain, Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, South America, South Africa, Egypt, I mean, UK, Russia, Ukraine. Dude, we have people from everywhere, all over the world who are part of this cap table. Mexico, who are like down for the cause. And so we're all in, and we really believe in what we're doing, and like we're gonna take this all the way.
Yeah, I love it, and I could definitely vouch for that in terms of the, you know, that cap table. I'm definitely not gonna dox anyone here, so relax, guys. But some absolute OGs, big hitters. I had the privilege of meeting a lot of them at the Nakamoto preview night that you guys had, which was
sick.
Yeah, I mean,
it was sick.
A who's who of Bitcoin was in that room. I was just completely floored. I'm like, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude that I've been able to become part of this community.
Hey, thank you for being part of it.
Yeah, thank you. And I wish that I could kind of convey the energy and the electricity that was in that room. And I think, you know, putting number go up technology aside, it's worth it just to get involved in Nakamoto for networking alone. I mean, the number go up is upside. Put that aside. That's the cherry on top, guys. The alpha is that this community is going to give you more opportunities than any other community you've ever gotten involved in. I mean, just point blank, period.
Hey, if you're actually here for the right reasons, if you're authentically in, dude, we're building an army to change the world.
Yes. Love it. That's a good soundbite. That might be the opening clip there. But you know, this you know, with all the hype that's surrounding Bitcoin treasury companies, it's as you know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's plenty of trolls out there, especially on Twitter, as I'm learning.
Yeah.
So you know, I kind of want to go through some of the things that I've been hearing and kind of get your thoughts on it. The first one being, one of the initial battle cries of Bitcoin when I got in. Again, I joined officially in 2017, and it was just kind of like ingrained in my skull of not your keys, not your coin, not your keys, not your coin, not your keys, not your coin.
True.
And I, learned how to do self-custody, get a wallet, send money back and forth in and out of the exchange, learn how it operates. And now we are asking people to entrust you with their hard-earned money, with their hard-earned coin. So what would you say to somebody that is very kind of heels dug in, saying that this is not real Bitcoin, this is paper
Well, it's not
Bitcoin?
real Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So first off, every person needs to prioritize buying Bitcoin and owning their own private keys. Until you own your own private keys, you are not a sovereign person. You don't have control of your own money. Okay. So like the starting point is you got to buy Bitcoin and hold it for yourself, not let someone else hold it for you. I'm not asking anybody to give us their Bitcoin. I'm asking people to take their cash that's not in Bitcoin and give that to us so we can turn it into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so, I think that like what we're doing is we're an investment. Like we're a security, we're an investment. We're taking on more risks than just buying and holding Bitcoin. And we're trying to grow at a pace that's faster than what Bitcoin grows at. That's the goal. And so the only way to get outsized returns is to take outsized risk. And I think we have the right balance of risk and reward, but like we're an investment. And so no one needs to be thinking about, oh, I don't need to custody my own Bitcoins because I'm invested in Nakamoto. It's the wrong way to think about it.
Yeah.
Like people need to control their own private keys, and they need to say, okay, I have a portfolio of most people that I meet don't have 100% of their assets in Bitcoin. They have some percentage of their assets in Bitcoin, then they have other things. Yeah. I'm saying those other things, you should take some of that money that's your risk capital and you should deploy it towards Bitcoin treasury companies. And I think you should deploy it with Nakamoto, but you should deploy it with Michael Saylor, deploy it with Metaplanet, deploy it with any of these great Bitcoin treasury companies that are executing well. And like we should be part of that portfolio of things that people invest into. There's people who have money in retirement accounts or SEP accounts or things that are tax incentivized, where that money's stuck and they can't put it into Bitcoin. Yeah. So we're not a replacement for Bitcoin. You should control your own private keys. Yeah. Like, full stop.
Yeah. And it also takes me back. This is probably 2-3 years ago. Bitcoin was right around $50,000. And I sat down with a friend that I had been working on trying to orange pill him for like over a year. And I start seeing the progress. I'm like, okay, I think he's almost there. I'm like, look, I know you're really tied to the stock market and to that world, and you have real estate as well. But you just got a chunk of money. He just closed. He's in sales, so he just closed a big deal. And he was kind of coming to me. He's like, hey, I'm thinking about maybe buying some Bitcoin, but I'm also thinking about buying stocks. He's like, I'm really kind of like at a crossroads here. I don't know which one to do. I'm like, look, if it were me, I would go all on Bitcoin. But you're not there yet. So why don't we split test it? Let's cut that number in half. Take half of that money, put it in the stock market, and half over here in Bitcoin. Yeah. And that was like whatever 2-3 years ago, 50,000 Bitcoin.
And then just tell them, don't sell your stocks and don't sell your Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin 20x's, it'll be 95% of your portfolio. Yeah. And there you go.
So I got it was really cool because I got to go through like the whole journey with him because I would say like maybe like a year after it was down. I mean, it went all the way down to like, 15,000. And I was getting those calls and he's like, man, I'm really nervous. This is like, I'm down tremendously. He's like, the stock market is outperforming. I should have gone on. I'm like, relax. I gave him, I did, this is a very good friend. I clearly won't do this for everybody, but I put this deal on the table for him. I said, look, the price is 15,000 now. I will pay a premium to get you out. I said, look, I'm buying. I myself am buying. I'm still buying. I bought recently. I added to the position. I said, I'll buy your coins at 20,000 when it was 15. I'm like, I'll give you that little premium, just to make you feel comfortable. But I don't want to hear about it when it goes, if and when it goes back up. So I could see that was kind of like an inception moment for me. He's like, wow, Carlos really has this deep level conviction on this thing. I think I'm going to hold. And he's like, no, you know what? No. Yeah, he's like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. I'll hold. So,
dude, what I found is like people getting conviction in Bitcoin only comes through surviving the bear markets. It's easy to hold an asset that when it's going up, But when I bought my first Bitcoins, they were $10, and then I watched them go to $260 and crash to $50. So that's like an 80% drawdown.
Yeah.
And then I watched it go from $50 to $1,000, and then $1,200, and then crash to $200. So that's like almost another 80% drawdown.
Yeah.
Then I saw it go from $200 to $20,000 and crash to like $3,000, which is pretty brutal time. And then I watched it go from $3,000 to $69,000, and it crashed to like $15,000, which I think is the cycle you're talking about. And then now I've watched it go from 15,000 to now we're at 100 and what are we at?
105. Yeah.
105,000.
105.
And it's like the first time it happened, I was worried. Like the second time it happened, I was worried, but I was less worried. The third time it happened, I'm like, I've been here before. It'll be fine. Now it's like, I almost kind of prefer the bear markets. I don't, because the bull markets are so exciting, but like, there's something very peaceful, I guess, in the bear markets.
Yeah.
And it's like after you've done it, you've gone through it enough times, it's like, wow, I have more conviction in this than I have in like the stock market or than I have in the currency. Like, what the US dollar has done that people feel safe in the US dollar. The US dollar is down 99% over the past 100 years. And if you go back 90 years, it's down like 98%. And if you go back like 70 years, it's down like 95%. And if you go back down like 60 years, it's down like 90%.
Yeah.
And it's like, pick any time interval you want. It's just down. Even in the past 5 years, it's probably down like 50%. I mean, I feel like inflation just has gone insane.
Yeah.
And so, people just need time. And I've met plenty of people who bought Bitcoin. It goes down, they sell it, and then it goes back up, and they're like, "Why did I sell it?" And then they don't want to buy it because they sold it lower. And then it's just all part of it. It's all part of it.
But it's been fun tracking his journey because it kind of takes me back to when I first got into the space. So fast forward now to today. Again, this is a close friend, so I talked to him. I talked to him last night. And now it's like, he's come full circle, and now he's like super bullish. I mean, he's like, he thanks me every time that we talk about Bitcoin. He's like, yeah, I'm in it because of you. You got me in it in the first place, and you helped me hold through. And now he's obviously outperformed his stock portfolio.
Yep.
So he sees the vision, and
and we'll go to 200 or 300 or 500,000, then we'll crash. To 200K, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh no, it's over." I mean, just
so that on repeat. So it's just it's fun to kind of go on that journey with them. So so yeah, that was a long kind of tangent off of the self custody kind of concern or knock that some people take on Bitcoin treasury companies. So I'd like to kind of go through a couple others because there has been some pushback, especially within the hardcore maximalists, the people that have put in the time and understand.
If you can't take the heat, you gotta get out of the kitchen.
Of course,
It's like, what are we doing here if we can't take hard questions?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the next one?
Yeah, so there's a lot of pushback also that this is just further centralizing Bitcoin, which again, one of the ethos is decentralization. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
So I actually think it's decentralizing Bitcoin, and the reason why is because, as I said earlier, corporations are made up of people. Like MicroStrategy's Bitcoin isn't Michael Saylor's Bitcoin. It's the 10 million shareholders that own MicroStrategy. It's their Bitcoin. And there's lots of people, actually the majority of people, who don't have the technical capabilities or the knowledge or the know-how or the comfort or the experience to buy Bitcoin themselves. My parents, my grandparents, anyone older than anyone who struggles to send an email is going to struggle to buy Bitcoin.
Yes.
Anyone who's not an internet native is going to struggle to buy Bitcoin.
Yes.
But all of these people have Fidelity accounts. All of these people have Schwab accounts or brokerage accounts or retirement accounts, IRAs, etc. And so, when you and a lot of these people, they're invested passively in index funds. Like they'll buy the NASDAQ 100 or they'll buy the S&P or they'll buy these like big, broad index funds. Okay, well, when MicroStrategy gets added to the NASDAQ 100 and there's 50 million people who are retirees that own the NASDAQ 100, every retiree just got 0.25% of their portfolio is now exposed to Bitcoin indirectly through MicroStrategy.
Yeah.
So what we've actually done is we've brought Bitcoin to a huge range of people that would never have access to Bitcoin. They just good luck teaching a 60-year-old who doesn't know how to use the internet, how to use the internet. Good luck.
Yeah.
And those people shouldn't be left behind. So
Completely agree.
These vehicles actually make it where this is maximally accessible to the greatest number of people. And how messed up would it be if we did leave all those people behind? If all the Bitcoin got owned by people under the age of 40 and the price of Bitcoin, and we destroy fiat currency, Bitcoin goes to the moon, and everyone who's older than the age of 40 is now just broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's messed up.
I completely agree. And, guys, what happened to Bitcoin is for everyone. Well, is it for everyone or is not? Because 90-year-old grandpa
should have exposure to Bitcoin too.
Yeah, 90-year-old grandpa going and self-custodying and setting up a cold wallet. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I think I don't think that Bitcoin treasury companies or corporate wrappers of Bitcoin is a solution for everyone. Only 1 billion people have access to the stock market, but 1 billion people is a lot of people.
Yeah,
let's go get that billion people in. And then we can figure out okay, for the other 4 billion people that don't want to learn and don't have Bitcoin, we'll figure that out next. But it's let's go get the billion people that we can get through this vehicle.
Yeah, I completely agree, by the way. And I'm already seeing it in my own family. My parents are the perfect example where they're, could they figure it out? How to set up a cold storage, and
if a gun was held to their head, they probably could.
100%, 100%.
But they won't.
They just hey, Carlos, set it off for me, and obviously I could set it off for them. That's not a problem.
But if they're relying on you, then they're not in control of their private keys. You're in control of their private keys.
Exactly. So where I'm getting at with this is that now, if they could buy Nakamoto, they're instead of just hearing their kids talking about it at Thanksgiving dinner, now. Think about how the script changes. Now they're in the game.
Yep.
They have skin in the game.
Yep.
And they feel like they're part of the community. So they're just as excited, maybe even more excited to talk about it than us.
100%.
100%. So it even strengthened. I see this as strengthening family unit. It's helping to kind of bridge that gap of where it's they might have been excited about it before, and they're excited for their kids or their grandkids, but it's now they could actually be in it and be in it for real. So it's and it kind of takes me back to when we first got in the space, gifting people Bitcoin was something that was still kind of popular. You give somebody whatever $1 or $5 worth of Bitcoin, and obviously that doesn't move the needle for anybody, but
it got them in the game.
It gets them in the game, and then now they start looking at this thing. They're like, okay, I have this.
My $5 is now worth $15.
Yeah, they're like, what happened?
Yeah.
And then they're calling you up like, why did it go up? Because you're in the game. Tell me why did the number go up? I don't know.
You know what a sad thing is also, though. I hear this all the time. Is someone got 10 years ago they got given a Bitcoin. And when it was $10, and now it's worth 100,000, and they're like, "How do I get that Bitcoin back?"
Yeah,
and it's brother, that Bitcoin's gone.
Yeah,
you threw that phone away a long time ago. There's no getting it back.
Yeah.
So it's people just, what our obligation is and what our duty is we have to tell people that there is no substitute for owning your own private keys,
Mm-hmm.
and you should take responsibility over your own life, and you should go hold your own private keys to your own Bitcoin. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what we got to tell people. And it's like, but if you're not going to do that,
Yeah.
here's an alternative.
Yes. I completely agree. And again, it just keeps them engaged in the community. And now this is a new group of people that would have never otherwise joined.
Massive group of people. Massive group of people.
Is Bitcoin for everyone, or is it not? I mean, we need to decide, because I'm very squarely in Bitcoin's for everyone camp.
Bitcoin's for everyone.
So I think this helps to accelerate adoption, and I'm 100% all for it.
What's the next question?
Fiat standard. Are we keeping people thinking more in fiat terms by having them invest through a Bitcoin treasury company?
Versus what? I don't know what that means.
It's just, you keep them thinking in dollars, and it's, oh, look, the number went up in dollars, instead of like learning about Bitcoin. It's just like, oh, look, I made more dollars, and eventually I'm going to sell this stock for more dollars, and I'm out.
Well, okay, I see what you're saying. So people look at the share price and they don't think about it in Bitcoin per share, which is how people should think about it. Like, how many Bitcoins per share am I getting, and how do I grow the number of Bitcoin per shares? Mm-hmm. I think that's an educational issue. And I think as people learn more and more, and they're going to be like, why are some of these stocks doing better than other stocks? Mm-hmm. Why is this price going up more than that price? Yeah. It's like, okay, well, that's because this stock is accumulating Bitcoin faster than this stock is. So I think like over time, as hyper-Bitcoinization happens, and as there's more adoption of Bitcoin, and people start thinking more in Bitcoin terms than in the dollar price of Bitcoin, that will naturally evolve and change. But yeah, I mean, I hear people, but most people who own Bitcoin, they think about the value of their Bitcoin in the dollar value of their Bitcoin times the number of Bitcoin that they own. Yeah. Like most people are like, I got $10 million worth of Bitcoin. They don't think about it as, oh, I have 112 Bitcoins. Yeah. They should think about it like that, but they don't. So I think that's just one of the things that will come with time. Okay. Fair enough. And let's talk about, the transforming ethos of Bitcoin. I'm thinking specifically, just because I have it, fresh in my mind, about the conference in Vegas. I probably saw more suits and ties in that conference than I've ever seen at any other conference, probably combined. So obviously they're all welcome. Bitcoin's for everyone, but I kind of go back to the earlier days where you had that kind of like that counterculture, cypherpunk libertarian, ethos, cypherpunk ethos. Are we risking losing that now that we're onboarding the next wave of users? Is this inevitable, or is this something that we should fight for to kind of keep that libertarian tinge? So we should fight for it. I grapple with this a little bit because like I've never worn a suit in my entire life, basically, until I started dealing with President Trump, and President Trump only wants you got to wear a suit if you're going to deal with the president. And so then I found myself wearing suits this year, and I'm like, wow, what's happened to me? I've gone from never wearing a suit to wearing a suit. Like, you know, this is the thing. Like, Bitcoin doesn't change. Like, everything that we think about Bitcoin, we project our own views of the world onto it. Bitcoin's just code. The code doesn't change. Bitcoin works the same today as it did yesterday, as it did before. It will work the same tomorrow. And it doesn't care if you're wearing a green jacket or a suit or a t-shirt or a hoodie. Like, a confirmation is going to confirm and send to another user when you click send. You know, like, it is what it is. I think that, we do need to represent the culture, because the ideology behind Bitcoin is very important. That's what gives Bitcoin value, is the ideology behind Bitcoin. Like, the permissionless nature of it, like why we need Bitcoin in the world. Bitcoin is speaking truth to power, and it's important that people know that. But just because, even if everybody was sucking up to power, it doesn't change the fact that Bitcoin is speaking truth to power. It's radically changing the power structure because it's taking away the control over the money. Yeah. So like, it is countercultural no matter what. We could package it up in a suit and we can put a tie on Bitcoin. Doesn't change what it is. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point. And Yeah.
it is good to get the suit and tie group involved.
Yeah, and I won't say who told me this, but it's like it's not Wall Street taking over Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin taking over Wall Street. And just because we put on a suit and a tie to go walk into their offices to get them to buy into Bitcoin,
Yeah.
like, let's be very clear. They're buying into Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
They're bending the knee to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We're just putting a nice package for them, so it's a little bit easier.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. And look, I mean, it's working. It seems like, every day there's a new bank that's giving their stamp of approval on it. Every day there's a new person capitulating. We just got, JP Morgan. Jamie Dimon was one of those strongholds where we always looked at like, oh, that guy's never going to cave in.
So the knee, Jamie Dimon.
Yeah. It sounds like the only one standing is Peter Schiff. So,
dude, Peter Schiff is almost ready to bend the knee. Dude, he had a great time at the Bitcoin conference. And the thing is like Peter's actually the example of someone who understands the ideological roots of Bitcoin but doesn't like Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because his bags are in gold, Peter has gotten so many people into Bitcoin, it's insane.
Yeah.
And
he takes pride in that, by the way. He tweeted about that the other day.
Oh, dude, when he was walking around the conference, I've told him this before, but I don't think he really appreciated it. When he was walking around the conference, he's a celebrity.
Yeah.
Like he's gotten so many people into Bitcoin. And so I think he was really shocked by that.
Yeah.
I think it was like really surprising. And I know his wife was like, oh, my husband, he's a celebrity. Like, he was feeling like a G at the conference. And I think like, give him a little more time. We'll get him in Bitcoin.
Yeah. Peter, if you think you're a celebrity now, you embrace Bitcoin, you're going to go to God tier status. So we're ready for you, Peter.
Yeah. Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
You talked about Bitcoin per share. So I'd kind of like to get into like some of the kind of the unique metrics of Nakamoto. Bitcoin is number go up technology. And the way that I look at it, Nakamoto is leveraged number go up technology. So the first one I'd like to dive into is Bitcoin per share. Could you tell us what that is and explain how you guys are going to be tracking that metric as one of the most important metrics?
Yeah. So like one of the main ways that we're going to be able to pull proceeds onto the balance sheet for Bitcoin. So there's like a few ways to get Bitcoin. So like one is like you're buying Bitcoin and you have a business that makes money. You take the money that you have as profit, use the profit to buy Bitcoin. Okay. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is, and what Michael Saylor's really pioneered is, okay, let's say I have 1,000 Bitcoins on my balance sheet, but the market, for whatever reason, is valuing my company at 2,000 Bitcoins, even though we only own 1,000 Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Well, I can sell shares in my company to the public markets, and I can use the cash that I raised from that, and I can go and buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so, as a shareholder, you're being diluted when I sell more shares. So you don't want to see like there's good dilution and there's bad dilution.
Of course.
Bad dilution is I'm selling shares to buy more Bitcoin and your shares are worth less than they were previously. Good dilution is when I'm selling shares to buy Bitcoin and I'm doing it in a way that, as for you as a shareholder, you own more Bitcoin after I do that than you held before I did that.
Yeah.
So that's good dilution. That's accretive dilution. And so we're out there accretively diluting and issuing new shares. But for our investors, because our mandate is we want to increase the number of Bitcoin per share, that number is rising. And so like that's what our objective is to make that number always rise.
Yeah.
There's other ways to do that as well. Like, for example, let's say we're in a bear market and the market's punishing all these stocks and the value of our balance sheet is such that we have 1,000 Bitcoin on our balance sheet, but the market's only valuing our company at 500 Bitcoins. In this scenario, what I need to do is I need to either use profits from our company or debt or by selling some of the Bitcoin, I need to get cash to buy my shares back, because when I buy my shares back, it's like I'm buying a Bitcoin for less than a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So I'm either selling a Bitcoin for more than a Bitcoin and I'm using the proceeds to buy more Bitcoin, or I'm buying a Bitcoin for less than a Bitcoin, which is also increasing the Bitcoin per share.
Yeah.
So there's like two ways to increase the Bitcoin per share on behalf of shareholders. But if I'm doing that, that means I'm doing my job well. If I'm not doing that, it means I'm wasting your money, I'm wasting your resources. You can do it better yourself.
Yeah.
You'd be better off just buying Bitcoin and holding it if your amount of Bitcoin per share is going down.
Yeah. I can't describe how happy it makes me feel knowing that you're out there with a team of just absolute assassins working as hard as possible all around the world, stacking my stack. Yeah, adding just a little bit of Bitcoin every month to my stack. So it's like, option A, again, we're the gold standard, the Bitcoin standard. The best thing is by far we have this consensus that, hey, everyone should own their Bitcoin. It's the best asset in human history. Own your own Bitcoin, self-custody. But with this little stack that I have here, I want to play around and I want to grow my Bitcoin stack while I sleep.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy to know that you are out there working to increase my Bitcoin stack. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. I can't, I don't know. It's hard to put into words how satisfying it is to know that you're out there leveraging your entire network and working for me as a shareholder to just add a little bit of Bitcoin to my stack.
Yeah, and it's not even just that I'm leveraging my network. It's that the system is designed so that corporations have an unfair advantage against the individual or private companies. And so we're taking advantage of the strengths of a public company and using that to access capital that as an individual you can't access.
Yeah.
And so we're getting access to cheaper capital, we're getting access to capital at a bigger scale, and we're weaponizing that to grow the amount of Bitcoin per share on behalf of the shareholders.
Yeah.
And dude, I never understood how much of an advantage it is until seeing it up close. Dude, we've had, I don't even, probably our bank account has been shut down probably like 3 times as a company. I probably could not get a bank to lend our company $1 million. Okay, like the banks won't do it. Looking at our business, and like they just don't lend money really. I mean, they just don't. You buy a mortgage, maybe they'll give you money for a mortgage, but they just don't really lend to businesses. You start a public company. Within a week of us getting a public company, I had a guy lend me $200 million.
Yeah,
at 0% interest.
Incredible.
It's like. What is this? What is this? So it's like a hack. Yeah. It's a hack.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like you as an individual don't have that ability to do it. Me as an individual don't have the ability to do it. Like none of the people in this room have the ability to do it. So it's like, but if we come together and we create this corporate wrapper, we can then take the same tools that Wall Street's been taking advantage of for years, and we can take advantage of it for ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, not only can we get access to cheaper capital, we can also use the corporate wrapper to take on to debt financing in a way that the Bitcoin's never at risk. So right now, if you want to get leverage on your Bitcoin, the way it works in the market is I have to go deposit my Bitcoins with you, custody it with you. You'll lend me some money against the Bitcoin, but you're going to hold on to them. And if the price of Bitcoin goes too low, you're going to liquidate the Bitcoin, and then I'm screwed.
Yeah.
With a corporate wrapper, I'm borrowing money against the corporate entity. The Bitcoin are never liquidated. They're never at risk. The price of Bitcoin goes down real low. Okay, great. Like the stock price is going to go down, but the Bitcoin's never going to be liquidated. So we just hold. We just sit there, and like, guess what? If the price of Bitcoin goes back up, we're going to be fine. Yeah. So that's an advantage that a corporate entity has that an individual doesn't have. So there's even tax tricks that you can take advantage of. So there's all sorts of benefits of owning Bitcoin in a public entity and then weaponizing that to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. And then like at the end of the day, the fundamental strategy is like there's only 21 million Bitcoins. Like there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins. In fact, less than 21 million. There's already probably 3 to 4 million Bitcoins that have been lost. Yep. So you need to get as much Bitcoin as you can now. So we don't have the luxury of time. You want to get as much Bitcoin as you can right now. Let's use every tool in the tool shed to accumulate it at the fastest pace possible.
Yeah. And I think, the world's really waking up to this because you're seeing just explosive growth in these companies like the market cap. I mean, MicroStrategy strategy went from 1 billion to 100 billion. And then Metaplanet went from 13 million to whatever it was, 500 million. I mean, it's
5 billion.
I'm
6
sorry,
billion,
6
7
billion.
billion.
Yeah, I misspoke. 6 billion. So it's that is it went up almost 500x. So it seems like it's accelerating, and now I mean we're here mid June of 2025. We got a real world example, another one, Smarter Web. That one, I mean, it looks like it might even outpace Metaplanet now. So it's like,
Hey, I didn't say it. You
Yeah.
said that. Metaplanet is amazing.
so I mean, are we kind of just still kind of discovering how far
Yeah, this
this
is
could
just
go and how high
like,
this could go?
if there's like one message to send to people watching this, it's you haven't seen anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
this is just beginning, and this is going to accelerate so far beyond where we're at right now, and it's going to get crazier and crazier and crazier.
So you think it's just we're just getting started? It's going to continue accelerating. These other treasury companies are
I think we're less than 0.1% of the way through this journey.
wow, incredible. So by the time Nakamoto's merger gets approved, you think the groundwork's going to be laid to even potentially go up more than that?
To borrow a quote from Sailor, Laura, it's going up forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what's the end game? It's like, okay, how many humans are going to live on the planet? Like,
Yeah.
that's the end game. What's the population growth of society? What's the rate of technological growth? How many machines are going to exist? How much AI? How much business is AI going to do with it? Like once you start trying to get into like what's the theoretical limit of Bitcoin, the constraints are what is the constraints on humanity?
Yeah.
And this is just going to keep accelerating. It's just going to keep accelerating.
I think that's the perfect segue to bring up one of Bitcoin's favorite topics, the super cycle. Do you think this is the actual super cycle, or do you not believe in that and think that we're always going to have these 4-year cycles based around the halving?
Dude, that is such a deep question. I could write a book on that topic.
Well, let's go. We're on camera. Let's roll.
So my mind is not made up.
Okay, fair.
Every time someone says it's super cycle, it's never super cycle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why I think this time is different, which is the most dangerous phrase.
Yes.
In human history.
We got it, guys. We got it. We're almost there. We're almost there.
Why I think this time is different is because when I look at the pool of buyers coming into the market, institutions, ETFs, governments, the amount of money that's coming in is ginormous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sizes of money I've never seen in my entire life. But relative to the pool of capital that these same people have, it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you're starting to see sovereign wealth funds where they're like taking out $1 billion positions. Okay, $1 billion sounds like a lot of money until you realize that same sovereign wealth fund has $2 trillion.
Yeah.
It's like they're just barely dipping their toes in. And the way that a lot of these buyers buy, they're much more sophisticated than retail buyers. Like typically, like myself, my dad, whatever, you connect your account to Coinbase. It's like, YOLO, $1,000. You empty out the checking account, buy. These institutions, they don't do it like that. It's like, okay, we want to deploy X percentage of our capital. We want to deploy it over this period of time. We're going to buy into our position over the next 12 months. We're going to buy every day for the next 12 months or 2 years or 4 years. And so they have a much longer time horizon that they're looking at, that they're deploying capital over. And then they're rebalancing their portfolios over time as well. So, if the Bitcoin performs too well, they're selling some of the position. If it underperforms, they're loading up, they're increasing their allocation size, or they're maintaining the same percentage. Yeah. And so, like, these buyers are so large and are so early in the process that I don't see how it's possible for Bitcoin to peak in the normal 4-year cycle. The normal 4-year cycle would say 4 years after the halving. No, the 4-year cycle would say basically 18 months after the halving, we've peaked. 2 years after the cycle would peak. So it's 1 year linear growth, 1 year exponential growth, 1 year crash, 1 year flatline. Like that's the cycle. Okay, well, the halving was, what year is it right now? It's 2025.
2025.
Okay, the halving was in 2024.
2024.
That the smart cycle theory would tell us that like by the end of this year or middle of next year, the bull cycle's over. There's no way that the amount of capital that's flowing in is able to peak in the next 6 months to 8 months. It's not even possible. So it's like, okay, this is going to be a longer cycle because it's just going to take these people longer to deploy. Well, okay, if we've broken the 4-year cycle, then what is it then?
Yeah.
That seems like a super cycle.
Yeah, it's tough because we only have a few data points to base it off of. So
I can say that this cycle is already different than every cycle previously.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that means like there's not going to be a bear market. I'm of the opinion that bear markets are good and that we need bear markets. But I could see Bitcoin running from here over the next 4 years to millions of dollars of Bitcoin before we see a prolonged bear market in Bitcoin.
Yeah. And I think you're in a very good position to look at this because one of your businesses, Bitcoin, the Bitcoin conference, depends on it heavily in terms of ticket sales, in terms of planning, number of seats, just planning the event from soup to nuts. So
and we've always planned the conference around the 4-year cycle.
Yeah.
Like even when we had our best year, we're like, next year's gonna be brutal. Even before anyone thought it was gonna be brutal, we're like, next year's gonna be brutal, cut the conference in half.
Yeah.
People were like, what are you doing? It's like we know it's gonna get brutal. But like right now, like the United States is contemplating buying 200,000 Bitcoins a year. Like there's for the next 4 years. It's like there's no way to have a bear market when you have nation states stepping in and buying Bitcoin in that size. Like, and it's more Bitcoin that's being mined. There's just not, the math doesn't math.
Yeah. The math doesn't math. The number has to go up because there's, just a few of these institutional buyers are soaking up all of the liquid supply on exchanges. We're almost at an all-time low of supply that's available on exchanges to sell. So
we're in the process at Nakamoto of spinning up 80 new institutional buyers of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We're going to have 80 public companies buying Bitcoin every day around the world. Each of those companies are going to accumulate thousands, tens of thousands of Bitcoin. If we have 10,000 Bitcoin per company times 80, that's 800,000 Bitcoins.
Mm-hmm.
That's more Bitcoin than's going to be mined in the next 100 years.
Yeah. So basically, the number has to go up to force people to take
sell.
To force people's hand to sell. And it's it has
to just reprice.
Yeah.
There's no other choice about it. It has to reprice. It has to go up enough where people are like, you know what? I want to buy a house. I want to buy a car. I want to put my kid through college. I'm going to sell some Bitcoin, and that sell pressure, the price has to be high enough that sell pressure exceeds the amount of inbound liquidity coming into the market.
Yeah. And I do think you're in this unique position on this. I mean, you've planned past conferences around this before, but now you're kind of, have enough doubt whether we're debating this right now, whether or not we're in a 4-year cycle or super cycle.
I can tell you this, for next year's conference, we're planning on 50,000 people.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that. So thank you for that. So you've already, if I understand correctly, you already have 20,000 seats committed.
25.
So you already have half of it committed, and we're a year out.
Yeah, the conference ended like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think you might be sandbagging with that 50,000 number.
I think it's possible.
And if that's a leading indicator, like it has been in the past, then one would believe that, yes, we are either in the super cycle or a vastly extended cycle this time around.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
super cycle.
Yes, super cycle. Let's go. Who's down for super cycle? Leave a comment below. I know you can't give, obviously, price predictions on Nakamoto, but you can give a Bitcoin price prediction.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Where do we go? I know Michael Saylor's talked about 2045, $13 million Bitcoin. Do you subscribe to that number?
Warning, the following extremely bullish statements are not financial advice. Buy a lot of Bitcoin at your own risk.
Long-term value of one Bitcoin is 1/21 millionth of all the things.
Yes.
So that's way higher than $45 million of Bitcoin.
Yes.
Like it's like where we're going, there is no price of Bitcoin. You know, there's an old meme. It's like you're telling me one day I could sell my Bitcoins for $1 million. And it's like, no, Neo, I'm telling you that when the time comes, you won't need to sell your Bitcoin.
Yes, exactly.
And so there is a flippening. I don't know what the market cap is when Bitcoin becomes too big to fail. But like my Twitter bio right now is that $1 million per Bitcoin is the floor. And the way I got that price is like I looked at like what is a comparable comp for Bitcoin, and it's gold. Bitcoin's digital gold, except it's way better than digital gold. It's better in every way than gold. It's much more than what gold is, but let's just say it's digital gold. Well, if you make the market cap of Bitcoin equate to the market cap of gold, that is $1 million of Bitcoin. So in my opinion, if it's better than gold in every way, then there's no justifiable reason for why Bitcoin is worth less than $1 million
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Now, if Bitcoin goes to $1 million of Bitcoin, which is a $20 trillion market cap, at that stage, Bitcoin's become so big that it can only go up. And the reason why is like, okay, $20 trillion. Don't be laughing, Austin. I'm telling you, this is the fact.
I believe it.
So $20 trillion, that's US GDP. There will be so much $20 trillion of wealth created. Consumer spending will be affected. Interest rates will be affected. You can't just create $20 trillion and spread it around 500 million people and it not affect the world. Like it's going to change the behavior of all these people. And so once we get to that point, if the price of Bitcoin goes down 50%, you're going to cause a global depression.
Yeah.
So it's going to get to a certain point where central banks, in the same way that central banks buy assets because they can't allow there to be a global depression, Bitcoin's about to reach that stature where it's like, bitch, you have to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like
too big to fail.
You have no choice but to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well then in that direction, like there's only one direction it can go then. And so, you know, once we get to a certain size, I mean, I think once we get to like $40 trillion market cap, we flip commercial real estate.
Yeah.
You know, like once we get like you just take the asset categories, we start flipping the asset categories and it's like, okay, we're not far away from Bitcoin being the most liquid asset in the world with the most widely held asset in the world, like, and the reserve currency of the world.
Yeah.
Like we've gone from being like not in that dynamic at all to like right now there's only one or two assets that have that reign above Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin has a 10 or 20x event, Bitcoin will take that reign.
Yeah. So if $1 million really is the floor and basically the entire world is waking up to it right now at the same time, let's get ourselves in a little bit of trouble here. Let's attach time to it.
Yeah.
How quickly do you think we get to that $1 million?
I think
Bitcoin?
by 2030, the price of one Bitcoin is over $1 million.
There we go. So in 5 years' time,
And I could see it happening faster. But by 2030, $1 million.
So yeah, we're a 10x from here in 5 years.
Yeah.
Incredible. So appreciate that. And to wrap it up, we have community. Our community has submitted a bunch of questions. So the Naka Nation wrote in and submitted their questions. I have the list of questions here. So if it's all right with you, I'd like to kind of go through some of these and feel free to answer or not, you know, at your leisure. So yeah, we'll speed round these. So shout out to the Naka Nation and thank you for submitting your questions. Baby. Naka Nation. All right. Does Trump like Naka?
I've been told that he's proud of what we've gotten done. And when the deal was done, I was told that there was an email sent saying congratulations to the Bitcoin community and David Bailey, supporter of the president, on it was a historic fundraise. So the president's aware, president's happy about it.
Wow, Naka Nation just gets stronger by the day, huh? how are you protecting the plebs and lobbying for us?
How am I protecting the plebs? Well, how I'm protecting the plebs is I'm doing everything I can to send Bitcoin to $1 million. You know, our political power, our strength as a community, it's derived from the financial capital that this entire community has. And as the price of Bitcoin grows and the number of people who hold Bitcoin grows, our influence in every power structure that exists on the planet grows. And so, you know, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go to the political powers that be, the financial powers that be, and articulate to them, if they want to work with the Bitcoin community, these are the things the Bitcoin community wants. We want to protect our right to self-custody. We want to get people like Ross Ulbricht out of jail. We want
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Yeah, no, that was big. And they basically didn't even know who Ross Ulbricht was. And it was like, hey, like if you want our political support, we want this to happen. And so
that was promises kept right there.
Yeah, promises made, promises kept. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, President Trump. But so, you know, all we're trying to do is be a conduit through the things that the community wants to just tell them. You know, like President Trump's not sitting on Bitcoin Twitter, you know, scrolling to seeing what people are saying in comments. It's like, we got to tell them, like, this is what the community wants. And if we step out of line with the community, then somebody else will come in and say, we don't know what we're talking about. Like we can only have this position as long as we're authentically relaying actual honest feedback of what the community wants.
Yeah.
So we do our best. I mean, our company is made up of plebs, and so I think we do a good job. But yeah, it's not just our job to do it. Everyone needs to do it. Every pleb, every person on the planet needs to be seeking out the people from their community, the people from their governments, the people from their institutions, and advocating for Bitcoin rights. We are under immense pressure every day to take the $710 million we have sitting in a bank account and converting it into Bitcoin.
Excellent.
We are trying to get to that point as fast as possible.
Yeah, I honestly still don't understand how you get any sleep. If I had one Bitcoin's worth sitting in a bank account and I couldn't buy, I'd be pulling my hair out. I can't even imagine how it must be for you right now.
We were joking at, like, for the conference, what we really should have done is, like, we should have lined up the most negative, pessimistic news possible and just queued it up. And been like, you know, Bitcoin's getting banned, you know, really drive the price down so we could buy as cheap as possible, you know. So
I like that. Well, Peter Schiff was there, so you did try a little bit.
I'm sure the haters will be like, "Oh, you did a great job. Price of Bitcoin went down 10% after."
Yeah. This next one, will you make any ordinals?
No.
All right.
But I love the ordinals community, and I love ordinals, and I will get roasted for this, but I don't care. You know, I'm a big believer that people should use Bitcoin however they want to use it.
Amen. I agree.
However they want to use it. I own ordinals. I think ordinals are goofy. Like, I haven't seen anything where, like, it's a life or death thing to own an ordinal. But, like, anything that's cool that you can build with Bitcoin should be built with Bitcoin. And so, like, I love culture in Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin culture. But at the end of the day, my mandate is to buy as much Bitcoin as possible and increase the Bitcoin per share. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what the focus is.
All right. I know the merch is all the rage. So this next question is, how can we get more merch?
Okay. So there's going to be more merch, but we're not going to run any merch that's already been shipped. Mm-hmm. So everything's going to be a one-time release.
Oof. That's some alpha. That's some alpha for you guys.
To get the merch, you have to be at the things. You have to do the things. We're not going to make any extra hoodies or hats or whatever. We're going to make new stuff. I've seen some of the mock-ups. It's sick. But, like, if you want the stuff, you got to do the things. We're not running any fiat money printers just printing up new merch. That's over.
Yeah. You got to put in the proof of work there to get your your merch.
That's right.
Tell us more about the Bitcoin Museum.
Oh, dude, the Bitcoin Museum is a special thing near and dear to my heart. It's a fictional museum. It kind of exists because we have a physical building. But, like, we are basically, I'd call it an alpha form right now, where we're just collecting. So we've been collecting for 5 years for the Bitcoin Museum. We've only actually had a physical building for it for like a year. Before that, everything was just in crates. But like we know that one day, like Bitcoin's going to be the most important thing in society on this planet. And so we need to have a proper Smithsonian level museum for people 10,000 years ago from now to be able to look back and understand the Bitcoin history and Bitcoin culture. And so we're collecting like all the most critical artifacts of Bitcoin and we're housing them in one place for all of humanity. So we have over 150 incredible works of art. We have, President Trump sent me the signed executive order for the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. We have Hal Finney's work uniform from when he created PGP. We have just the sickest artifacts, and I can't wait for us to open the museum to the public. So it's a passion project. There's no business economics to it, but we definitely have the sickest collection in the world of Bitcoin on history.
Yeah, I would love to go to that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Who is the head of memes at Naka?
Probably me right now. So I don't know. Our memes will improve. We'll have some solid memes.
I think they've been fun, and it's getting funner. So, how do you feel? Okay, this is a 3-part question here.
Okay.
How do you feel about Pepe? How do you feel about bow ties? How do you feel about Pepe wearing a bow tie?
Love it, love it, love it, even more. So nothing better than a classy frog. There's some alpha there I could drop, but I'm not gonna drop it right now.
All right. Would you support a limited edition on-chain monkey, Nakamoto edition?
Sure.
All right. Get to it. Rise. On-chain monkeys, rise. Let's go.
Okay, Austin's telling me I should drop some alpha. This may have to be cut from this.
Okay. Yeah, no. We could cut the whole interview if you want to.
But we are evolving the brand. We're going to add a mascot for the brand. And the mascot and logo for Nakamoto is going to be the American bullfrog.
Oh, bullish. Bullish. Let's go.
Yeah.
Keep Bitcoin's frogs. Keep the Bitcoin OGs know that the mascot of Bitcoin is frogs for sure. It's not dogs. It's definitely not cats. It's not unicorns. It's not whatever other thing you want to make up. It's frogs. I'm for it. Let's go. Thank you for dropping that alpha.
The American bullfrog, not only is it bullish, but it's an invasive species.
Yes.
You can't get rid of it once it comes. It's the apex predator of the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
It will eat anything it can put its mouth around in the same way that anything that we can get our balance sheet around will eat. And it's a universal sign of good fortune, wealth, and safe travels. So, we're the American bullfrog.
Bullish. Let's go. Wow. Thank you for dropping that alpha. Incredible. This next one. When will we see a dashboard showing BTC held, companies held, debt, progress, etc.?
Soon. I saw a mock above it this week. Looks absolutely sick.
So we're going to get real-time report on all this stuff, and it's going to adjust in real time as you guys buy additional companies. The Bitcoin per share is going to be just posted live.
And what's cool about it too is that because we're going to have so many companies in the portfolio, each of these companies will be reporting their Bitcoin holdings like weekly. But if we have 30, 40, 50 companies in the portfolio, it means we're going to have multiple companies announcing every single day. So the dashboard will just be continuously ticking up the amount of Bitcoin that we hold all the time.
That's awesome. So I could see you stacking, adding to my Bitcoin stack and my Bitcoin per share growing in real time.
Once the dashboard's up, it's going to be on every screen at this house, at the office. Just stop.
Absolutely. It's going to be a televised probably at some point. It's going to be on the New York Stock Exchange. People are just going to lose interest in these boring boomer stocks, and they're going to want to just see what's going on in this.
We're going to be a frog sucking up Bitcoin like we're eating flies.
Yes.
Let's Naka.
All right, this next one, I think you could probably figure out who this one's from. How can Naka help us get more steps, sunshine, and vibes?
When you're making money, you can live the life you want to live in the sunshine, walking around with the good vibes, not sitting inside a cubicle, wasting away under fluorescent light. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to make all of our Nakamoto shareholders super happy they're Nakamoto shareholders. We're going to empower them to go live their lives how they want to live it in the sun.
Beautiful. I think the bullfrogs like sun too, so that makes sense.
They do. And they're laying and thriving.
Yes. There we go. Any parting thoughts for the plebs and for the Nakamoto Nation as a whole?
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Ain't seen nothing yet. Let's go. Naka Nation. Can
go.
I get a Naka Nation?
Naka Nation.
Naka Nation's
Let's
looking
go.
stronger than ever. Let's go. Naka Nation, right?
That's 2 wins, man. Naka Nation.
There we go. That's some more alpha. Jeez, we got to turn off the cameras. We're dropping too much alpha. We're going to get in trouble. That's it, guys. Peace out.
I gotta go buy a share.
That's right.